The Master Collector program and OMA Utility program have been set to be released at some point this year. But with more and more people coming onto the app, getting the drops are becoming way less likely, and that means there may be a better chance that you're not really paying attention to, but something that could come in incredibly handy. And today, we're going to talk about exactly that, on how you can improve your percentage chances on getting the drops without actually doing much more. So let's get started. Welcome in everyone, my name is Andy, and I appreciate you taking some time out your day to come and hang out with me and all of these wonderful people. We're closing in on 5,000 subscribers, so if you do enjoy the content and you want to help support me on this journey, you can hit that subscribe button. And if you want to even help further, you can join the membership down below. So we've been confirmed that we're having around 1.4 million active users on Veve right now. And I don't see that number really slowing down that much or not continuing to grow as Veve develops itself. I mean, there's going to be some big announcements coming this year. Migrations are happening, big exchanges are going to be coming to play, so there's going to be a lot of shifts and a lot of changes that will bring a lot more investors into Veve itself, and maybe that will snowball and help it grow further. But the issue is that means the drops are a lot harder to get now. You know, you've maybe got a 1 in 5, 1 in 10, 1 in 15 chance of getting some of the drops just purely because there's so many people going for them. With I think Alex saying that we've not had less than 150,000 people going for each drop in the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. So it's definitely become a lot harder, and I rarely manage to get many drops. And with us going to the lobby system as well, maybe over the next coming months, again, it's going to make it a lot more difficult, as I believe they've said you're going to have a 10-minute window to get involved in the drop, and then after that everyone's just going to get randomized. You might get a drop, you might not. But again, I think that lowers it because there's more people who can then get into the drops within that window, and therefore you'll have an even less percentage chance of getting the drops. Of course, right now, Veve is sort of all about drops, and that's what most people are paying attention to. But in the future, when we have things like the Veveverse, when we have other things that are coming out in regards to Veve, the drops aren't going to be what it's all about. Yes, it's going to play a factor and there's going to be an area in that, but it's not going to be everything. But just because right now everything is sort of related to the drops, as Veve can gain the most money, they can prove to the licensors they're worth reinvesting back into after the contract is actually up. And there's a lot more to it when it comes to actually gaining quite a lot of cash at the moment, so that they can use that maybe in potential crypto winters or downtimes during the next few years if they do happen to have them. So the entry itself that you're going to be getting into the lobby system is most likely going to lower your chances even further of actually getting the drops. And that's probably going to annoy or change the narrative of what people think when it comes to them. Because as of right now, it's quite exhilarating when it comes to the drops. It's quite fun when you think about what you're going to get into. Maybe you're going to get it, maybe you're not. But when you go into a lobby system, you're not really expecting anything. You're just sort of clicking the button, and that's it. You're waiting for the randomization of it to choose, and we'll see what it comes from there. Whereas when you're having to click it, you're having to set up all these tips and tricks and really stand out. It makes it more exciting. Even if you don't manage to get it, it's still exhilarating to do so. When this lobby system comes out, it's maybe going to be less exciting with an even less percent chance of getting the drops. How does the Master Collector program and the OMA Utility program come into this? How can that actually increase our percentage in getting the drops and maybe actually winning it? Let's look at the Master Collector program first to see a little bit more. Okay, so having a look at the Master Collector program here, we can see from the drop raffle that it gives collectors a greater chance to obtain a specific collectible in an upcoming drop. A percentage of additions of each rarity in a drop will be made available for this raffle. Users can participate in the drop raffle by using their points to purchase a drop raffle ticket. The more tickets a collector has relative to the other drop raffle participants, the greater chance of success. The collector can buy as many raffle tickets as their points will allow, and when the drop raffle closes, winners will be randomly selected from the pool of ticket holders, and those successful in the drop raffle can purchase their chosen collectible, and the points for all drop raffle tickets the winner purchased will be spent. Collectors who are unsuccessful in the drop will get around 90% of their points returned. We can see from here already that the drop system is going to work a little bit differently, where people are part of the Master Collector program, and this is also in relation to the OMA Utility program, as it's the same thing but just different, is going to happen here. There's going to be a set number of additions that will be set aside for the Master Collector program and the OMA Utility program, and you can enter in through the points that you've got. Now, how you gain points is through your collecting, is through your activity on the app, and so much more. So there's a lot of different things that happen when it comes to this, how it actually progresses. You have to put your points or spend points in order to get raffle tickets, against other people. Why I believe you're actually going to have a higher percentage chance here is for two reasons. One, because people actually have to choose to put their tickets into this specific drop. So if it's a drop maybe not as many people are after, you could put some of your tickets in and you have a higher percentage chance of doing it compared to every single person who's buying on the platform or trying to get into the lobby system originally. And the second reason is the main one that we're going to talk about here. At a set time before the drop, the MCP drop raffle will open to those collectors above the required MCP level. Now, we've discussed the MCP before and what it is, and it's basically a set number of levels that are going to go from 0 to I think it's 23 or 25, where that's the master collector and you are up at that stage. So I'm guessing you're probably going to have to be at a set rank and stay at that rank in order to actually get involved in this master collector program raffle. And this makes me even more excited because now what I believe is that once people realize this is the case, and the difference in percentage chances of actually going for this drop using your master collector points is going to be way more beneficial than actually doing it within the normal drop, people are therefore going to focus more on the master collector program and how to get more points, therefore adding to the ability of what Veve can do within its retention, its user growth, and just overall enjoyment of the app. If we're talking the same time right now, we have 150,000 people going for a drop and we'll say there's 30,000 additions. So you have roughly about a 1 in 5 chance of actually getting one of these drops. If we then take it in a different format, 50% of those qualify for the MCP raffle, but only 20% actually go in for it of those 50%. So therefore, you're only competing against the 50% of that, so you're talking 75,000, and only 20% of those, you're talking 15,000 people going in for this drop raffle. Now, of course, this isn't every time, but that significantly increases the percentage chance of you actually getting one of these drops, again, relative to how many additions they actually put in within these drop raffles. Of course, there's not 30,000 additions that are going to be put into the drop raffle system. There could be a decent amount that it gives you a better odds chance of actually getting it compared to the number of people who are entering. What you've also got to take into consideration is you can buy as many tickets as you'd like relative to the number of tickets that you have and competed against others who are putting up those tickets as well. Therefore, you can increase your chances even further by putting more tickets into this system. And that for me means that the Master Collector program may be being slept on right now because people think it's not going to mean that much and it's not going to make as much of a difference as maybe some of the other things are right now. For me, that means I'm focusing way heavier on what the Master Collector program is as a whole and what it could actually mean. Something I'm actually going to bring up right here that might surprise you and might be one of the things that completely lower supply but heavily increase demand of certain comics. They've discussed the burning mechanic, something where you'll be able to burn collectibles or comics for points. As of right now, a lot of people are thinking, I would never burn anything for any amount of points. Why the hell would I do that? And I agree, something like a Todd McFarlane Batman or a partner statue, I'm never in a million years thinking about burning it. However, once we get more and more comics on the platform, things that have more editions maybe, we might actually see a lower floor for them. So let's say, for example, a comic costs 10 gems, and you're able to burn that comic for 10 MCP points, which are then able to be put into the raffle. You have a drop, something like Darth Vader or Yoda or Harry Potter or Pokemon when they're released, then burning those to get more drop raffle tickets may actually make financial sense. Let's say, for example, you bought 10 comics for 100 gems and you burned them all 10 MCP points each. So you've spent 10, you've got 100 MCP points now after burning all of those. You've took 10 out of the supply of everything and now you're putting those into the raffle in order to get these. Now I know that might be on quite a small scale, but if Veve get the burning mechanics right, where you're actually getting your MCP points worth the amount that you're actually burning, you could significantly increase your chances of getting that drop by only spending 100 gems. Now, I hope that makes sense with what I'm going for here, but if we say something like an ultra rare Darth Vader, and that's what you're putting your raffle into, that's what you're trying to get, more likely the Darth Vader is not going to sell for 100 gems. It's going to be way, way more than that. So you actually taking that risk of putting more points into this raffle, depending on what you're burning, could make complete sense in the terms of statistics of your percentage of winning that. Again, you're not going to know what other people are putting up in regards to the points that they're using to get this. On a larger scale, that could make a lot of the comics, even a lot of the cheaper collectibles, a lot more rare and a lot more expensive. Meaning the floor level at some of these things may actually be higher than they organically would if burning wasn't a mechanism. Early users who are catching on to this therefore might be able to win a lot more drops than their peers who are just going for normal drops and they're just going into the lobby system because they're putting their tickets in this. Even if they do burn the comics, they put the raffles in for the points and they don't win, get 90% of the tokens that they actually put in back. So you're only losing 10% that happen to lose. But if you win, then you're gaining probably way more than you are from a currency that doesn't actually exist within Veve, but just MCP points. So what's my strategy with this? Because I feel I've maybe confused some of you or covered a little bit too much in terms of the statistics of it and what it could be, because I even confused myself a little bit for it. But the basis of it all is that when the MCP launches, I think a lot of people are underestimating the power of the percentage increase chance that you can get when you're actually doing it. So from now on, I'm going to be looking at how to increase my odds when it comes to the amount of tickets and the amount of points that I'm going to be getting daily when it comes to Veve. By doing so, I'm going to be able to have the highest percentage chance of a collectible that I truly want when something is dropping. Because if we say that something like Pokemon drops in the next year or so, and we're thinking maybe we'll have 400, 500,000 people actually going for those drops, especially if they're big ones, there's only going to be a specific percentage amount of people who are actually going to get into that MCP raffle. You have to be a particular level in the Master Collector program, and you also have to have raffle points available at that point. So if there's a whale there who has spent all their points on a previous drop and they're building them back up again, even if they have a lot of collectibles, their probable first thought process is, how can I buy things at the cheapest amount to then burn them in order to get enough tickets to actually be a competitor in this MCP raffle? That then lowers the supply of some things that are maybe not as sought after as others, but then can therefore increase demand on some other things that aren't actually in demand, as we'd say, on the market right now. That means my strategy is to look at sets that I can complete in order to get the most points daily and continuously work on that to become the highest level so that I'm getting more and more points when it comes to this. This will be things like signing up for MCP Pro or qualifying for it each month so that I get more points for everything that I'm doing, and really pushing that forward to the best of my ability so that I know I can get the highest percentage chance of getting these drops, and therefore a better ROI when I'm actually buying them and selling them on the secondary market. Now, I could be completely wrong here. I can be saying a load of stuff that just doesn't really make sense. But from the way that I've thought about it, this is going to make more and more people actually pay attention to what the MCP program is and how beneficial it will be once more and more people are coming on this platform. If you have to reach a certain rank to get there, you're already loading a high percentage of people who are not going to be able to qualify for this. And the same with the OME utility program, people probably don't even have OME. So again, you're lowering the percentage of people that can get into it. Now again, there's some people with OME who have like 1 billion OME, and I know I probably can't compete with those, but when it comes to something like the MCP, I probably have a better chance of doing so than when it comes to spending something like my OME. But what's your thoughts on all of this? Do you think this is something that you're going to take forward, or have I just completely messed it up and it doesn't actually make that much sense? I'd love to talk about it down in the comments and see how we can maybe solidify our strategy, make it something that is actually going to work for all of us to get more drops over the long run. Be sure to let me know down in the comments. I know the video on the screen now will be something you'll love to watch. Have a fantastic day.